You're listening to Pato's Powerhouse. Pato's Powerhouse. Pato's Powerhouse.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's podcast. This is Pato and I am so glad that you are here with me today. As always, like I said, I'm very thankful because I know you have options. I mean, every time I turn around, somebody's launching a podcast and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's, it's a big sea. There's plenty of fish out there. All I'm saying, if I'm saying anything, is that I am grateful you choose to be with me here today. So it's been a while. Been having not technical difficulties. Actually, we did have technical difficulties in the last episode of Cursory Overload. Something happened with my Zoom mixer and it froze up, and somehow it reformatted the SD card, so it erased everything. It wasn't one of my best moments, but it is what it is. Looks like okay. We have a brand new SD card there now. It's been reformatted. Lots of space to record more episodes. So as soon as we get a chance, we're going to record more episodes of Cursory Overload, and that should be on the way. Also, Pato's Powerhouse. We're evolving a little bit more. I've always been your bite-sized podcast, here like 10, 15 minutes. Last time we did half hour when I came across all these new podcasters that we've been interacting, and hopefully soon we'll be how can I say this? Wow, gotta love this chair. Makes a lot of noise. Actually, love recliners, but not really, because then you get lazy and then you don't do what you're supposed to do. I'm pretty sure you've had that happen to you. I know I'm not the only one that just sits down on a recliner and then the rest of the evening goes away, or the rest of the morning. Like today is Thursday morning for me. I don't know when you're listening to this, but today is kind of like the equivalent of my day off. I don't have a day off per se. I have hours off. On paper, it looks like I had a day off, but not really. And this is the one day where I catch up on stuff that I gotta do, like my laundry and all the other stuff that needs to be done. But enough about that. Just wanted to touch base with you guys, of course. I mean, no, I did not watch the presidential debate. If usually we're not trying to go political here, but I made it a point not to, because I knew what I had a feeling that it was going to be exactly what it was. So that being said, we move on. And okay, well, one of the things I just wanted to touch base with you guys was there are times, when we start getting up in age. Oh, by the way, happy belated birthday to K-Dog. His birthday was yesterday. My homeboy, my brother from another mother, turns 4-5, but he's still a 9-year-old in the brain. So we will always be your middle-aged 9-year-olds until we are your senior citizen 9-year-olds. Then can you imagine if we're still podcasting when we're seniors? And oh gosh, that'd be freaking awesome. That'd be fucking hilarious. Yeah, I just had to throw that gratuitous F word there because, well, why not, right? So as I was saying, if I'm saying anything, is that we're getting ready to move on. Rebellion Season 2 is coming up. We're gonna try to do more of the things that we couldn't do last time because of COVID, because of time, because of job changes, because of things, life gets in the way. And that's kind of like what's fun about this podcasting thing, is that anybody can have one and they can share what's going on in their lives. And like I said, some people tune in for that. Other people tune in because we talk about the movies, we talk about comic books. In this case here, I usually keep you updated what we're doing on the other podcasts, but lately we haven't been doing much. I mean, we recorded an episode that went to hell because my machine froze and I ended up reformatting the SD card. Not on purpose, but it just happened that way. Rebellion, we put a stop to it because, well, at the time with COVID, it wasn't easy. Daygard and I weren't able to like meet up for long periods of time, so it was just that in time. I mean, that boy, every time I turned around, he was working too. So work, it seems to be like we're your hardest working podcasters. There's no doubt about that. K-Dog's joined the ranks, I guess, working 2 jobs. The last podcast, of course, unless he complains about it again, you will not hear it, but he was telling me that, I don't know how you do it. And I'm like, welcome to my world. Well, your world sucks. He's like, I don't like it. I want to go back to mine. And I'm like, well, hey, good luck with that. I mean, this is the only world I've ever known. Work, pay the bills. There's nobody for me to turn to. I've never had, like, some folks are blessed. They have no idea how blessed they are. It's funny. That's why when I hear people complain about their parents, it irritates me because some people complain about their parents, but then they hit them up for money. Me, I never had that option. I mean, I did as far as like when mom was younger and she worked, but it was always like, can I borrow $20 for gas? 40, maybe even 100, but we all had to pay that back. So when I hear of people borrowing, like, hey, I'm low on my rent, can you lend me money to pay the rent? And your rent is like $1,200. I'm like, I've never had that option. My parents, I mean, we didn't have the resources to like just, oh, here you go, son, here's your month's rent or your month's mortgage. No. And it's crazy how we all have different perspectives in lives because we all come from different walks of life. I mean, for some of us, $1,000 is still a fortune. And you're like, $1,000. Yeah, it's a month's rent. It's a mortgage payment for me right now. But still, I don't have $1,000 just laying around to spend on stupidity. And somehow we manage to do it too. A lot of it is done eating out. Boy, that can add up. But of course, we have to eat. And when you work a lot, you have to eat. And sometimes it's just the way things work out. And of course, not to mention that this pandemic thing raised the price on some things, the availability. So a lot of the times you're running around, not so much the prices, but just running around to the different places, sometimes ordering online. Well, anyway, I'm not saying anything that you don't know already. I mean, we've all been going through this. It's crazy. Scottsdale, Arizona, removed their mandated mask law or whatever restriction, so people can now go to the bars there without masks. I'm like, I believe that we're not out of this yet. I mean, it's gonna be a few years. If we look back in history with the Spanish flu, I mean, it took what, at least 4 or 5 years for everything to get back to normal, for vaccines to be developed, for us to create that immunity. And I'm a firm believer that mask wearing helps. I mean, because I think it's part of that herd immunity thing. You might be going like, well, yeah, you're wearing the mask. You don't expose other people to as much. They don't expose you to as much. I mean, yeah, you still have a chance of being exposed to the virus, but now it might be in lesser amount than if there was no mask to cover somebody else's, germs or your germs. So we're getting a smaller dose, and maybe that way we are creating herd immunity. I read something like that, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. So mask up, motherfuckers. Even if your city, your town, your state, like there's a state that removed the mask mandate, I think it was Mississippi. Even if they do that, do what's right for you. Wear a mask. Take care of yourself. take care of others. You know, one of the things that we're always pushing at the end of every show in Cursory Overload is be kind. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, we push that a lot at the end because right now, that's what we need. We need lots of that. There's a lot of hate going on. I mean, there's a lot of things that are being pushed through the media that maybe the administration that is in power right now encouraged, and it's ridiculous. Right now, what we need to do is stop being Republican, stop being Democrat, and become human beings again, and understand that there, you know, a lot of people take pride in their ethnic background, their race, but there's only one race, and that's the human race. Just like, you know, plants and flowers, there's all kinds of different kinds of them, different colors, different shapes, but they're all plant life. They're all the same. Well, similar to us. Yeah, we're all different colors, different shapes, different ethnic backgrounds, different languages, but we are all part of the human race. Well, this wasn't supposed to be one of these, hey, listen, motherfuckers, wear a mask or don't be racist. But you should know that already. I mean, I shouldn't have to say that. I mean, it's amazing that sometimes, you know, when I was growing up and I was in high school, you know, for a minute there, I dare to believe that we as humans were evolving to that point where acceptance and, you know, that all of a sudden we were, especially here in our country, we were coming to that point in life when we no longer viewed people as, oh, the brown person, oh, the Mexican, the black person, that we were starting to view each other as Americans. It seemed like it was heading in that direction, and then politics and politicians started stirring the pot in a different direction. Like, oh, hell no. People uniting, becoming one, that's not a good thing. That's not good for business. It's not good for profits. It's not good for whatever agenda some people have. You know, another thing that I want to talk about right now is like, I'm seeing a lot of TikTok videos where people are like astounded or surprised that there is different races in Mexico. I'm like, are y'all just figuring this shit out right now? I'm like, there's brown people, there's white people, there's black people in Mexico. The same as the United States. When it comes, for some reason, in America, everybody is taught to think of Mexicans like brown-skinned people. That's it. But little do you know that Mexico is a nation of immigrants, just like the U.S. There is blacks, there is whites, there is the mestizos, you know, the white with native, and then of course there's the indigenous population, the ones that were there before European whites, in other words Spaniards, arrived to Mexico. And you also have like parts of northern Mexico for what I understand, in the American-Mexican War, there was something called the St. Patrick's Brigade. It was a lot of Irish soldiers who could not fight against a Catholic country. So they defected and fought on the Mexican side because apparently their religious beliefs were and are stronger than the temporarily national thing. So that's why you got a lot of Irish people in Mexico. You have Irish, you have German. There's a lot of Mennonite camps right there. You know, there's all I'm saying, if I'm saying anything, where the fuck have you been if you're just barely realizing that, oh, there's black people in Mexico? There's white people in Mexico? I'm like, seriously? Of course, I've always had this mentality that I'm like, I don't blind myself to what we've been taught in school. Like, you know, all the